Hello YouTubers out there, this is the Boob Wasteland Show with your host Jerry Saravia. So today we're going to talk about, very briefly, Jay Leno's exit from The Tonight Show, which will commence February of 2014. That's right, Jay Leno's leaving The Tonight Show for the second time. I guess we can probably deduce from this that this will be the last time that this happens. Because as you all know, Jay Leno was supposed to have left The Tonight Show in the hands of Conan O'Brien, and Conan O'Brien took over back in 2009, and that lasted very shortly, less than a year, I think 8 months, I don't know exactly, but a very short run Conan O'Brien had. And so Jay Leno left. Now the idea was that 4 years earlier, Jay Leno said Conan O'Brien is taking over The Tonight Show. Fine. Conan did. Jay Leno had the Jay Leno Show that was on at 10 p.m., which was basically a Tonight Show, but an hour earlier, hour and a half earlier. The ratings for the Jay Leno Show were faltering, to say the least. Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien wasn't doing too well in the ratings, so NBC at that time said, well, we're going to have to, you have two options. One, you leave the show and you walk away with $45 million, which, by the way, was money that ended up being not just Conan's paycheck, but a paycheck overall for his entire crew, which includes the band, and Andy Richter, his staff, and so on. Or we put Jay Leno on at 11:35, back on The Tonight Show, or rather the Jay Leno Show on at 11:35 p.m. This was a thinking, by the way, behind NBC. And that would last a half hour. 12:05 a.m. would be The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien. Of course, Conan didn't go for it, left the show. Jay Leno came back to The Tonight Show. That was the idea, because he was number one, going head-to-head with David Letterman at 11:35. So this was an odd set of circumstances, to say the least. It's not like Conan really had much of a chance. Today's ratings world, I understand, is different than it used to be. They don't give too many shows enough of a chance. Some shows more than others. According to Jim Belushi seemed to last 19 years on television. And, but then at the same time, that show, Ray Romano, Man of a Certain Age, was gone just like that. Even though, of course, the show won a Peabody Award. But, hey, what's a Peabody Award next to good ratings, right? So, needless to say, nobody gets enough of a fair shake anymore in the ratings world when it comes to television. However, when Jay Leno took over for Johnny Carson for The Tonight Show back in 1992, believe it or not, Jay Leno's ratings were not that good, and they were eclipsed by Letterman, and, well, we didn't have a whole lot of late night competition back then, aside from Arsenio Hall, really, if you think about it. So, now, Jay Leno has been number one for at least a good year, bringing in 3 million or more viewers a night. Doing better than David Letterman, etc. So now, guess what? Jay Leno, despite being number one, and NBC having new bosses, new studio bosses, because now it's been been bought by Comcast. Letterman currently, by the way, attracts 873,000 viewers a night. And the one who's going to be taking over for Jay Leno, Jimmy Fallon, 669,000 viewers a night. Fallon airs an hour later, which is when fewer viewers are awake, as they say. So, needless to say, despite being number one, he's leaving. Now, contract, I believe, was going to be up in September of 2014. So if he's number one and he's doing so well, why are they replacing him? Good question. Not sure I have an answer for that one. Conan O'Brien, his ratings weren't doing well, he's replaced. But he was given an option. He walked away with $45 million, no longer the late night host for The Tonight Show, but now he's on at 11 p.m. with his own show, Conan, which is doing well. All things considered, pretty damn well for 11 o'clock. So he precedes everyone, all the late night talk shows. But now Jay Leno's leaving, and he's going to be replaced by Jimmy Fallon. I've seen Fallon a few times. I can't comment. Jimmy Kimmel, I barely ever watch. I mean, I only have so much room for late night. I watch Conan. I admit I'm a Conan fan. I used to be a Jay Leno fan, but I got really, how can I put it, offended by his move to leave The Tonight Show and then take it back as if nothing ever happened. So let's backtrack a little bit. This is old news, but what the heck. Jay Leno, back in 1992, for TV Guide, said, before he got The Tonight Show, he said, listen, I am not going to be on at 12:30 at night. I'm going to be on 11:30. There's no way Letterman will precede me. Now, Jay Leno gave his fond farewell back in 2009. Goodbye, good luck to you, Conan, da-da-da. He came back on The Tonight Show. And then the opening of the return of Jay Leno on The Tonight Show was an homage to Wizard of Oz. Oh, I'm so glad to be home. What a bunch of BS. Of course, that is the real truth. But the other stuff was all a lie. Because on Oprah, he came back to do an interview on Oprah after this whole Tonight Show debacle and said he was heartbroken that he lost The Tonight Show. Excuse me? What? What are you talking about, sir? So, I don't know what is the real reason that is accelerated, right, by quite a few months, Jay Leno's exit from The Tonight Show. Jimmy Fallon may end up being a natural fit. I don't know. I can't say because we don't know. I think everyone kind of thought Conan would be a good fit, and the ratings weren't stellar, to say the least. The ratings improved when there were the Tonight Show wars, which really, obviously, whenever there's a train wreck, people have to watch, don't they? They won't watch otherwise. And then this whole Team Conan, Team Jay thing really got out of hand and was pretty dishonest anyway. Because for those who were tuning in for the first time to watch the Tonight Show Conan, because of a debacle that, doesn't make any sense to me. Nevertheless, what is Jay Leno going to do now? That is the real question. Rumors are that Fox will give him a show. Will they not? Does he really want to? I mean, the late night competition now is insane. Again, you think back to 20 years ago, it was Jay Leno Tonight Show, David Letterman on at the same time, and somewhere in that mix was Arsenio Hall, and that was really it. And after that, it was all, I can't even remember the name of the sportscaster, but you had other shows after 12:30, including Conan, who came into the scene in 1993. So, question is, why is this happening? According to articles out there, Leno is currently winning with the 18 to 49-year-olds. Kimmel is closing in. Kimmel has been averaging 936,000 viewers in the age group next to Leno's 1 million plus. So, at first, when Jimmy Kimmel got the 11:35 slot, not too long ago, he was besting Leno. And then, of course, now, Leno is tops. So, I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense, because the ratings war is a bunch of nonsense, isn't it? Because if they're going to make Leno leave, and he's number one, why are they doing it? It's not because of age. Not if he's attracting that 18 to 49, that coveted, demographic. So, I don't know. But this is all a bunch of BS. I think in the next few months or so, or maybe after February of next year, we'll find out the real truth about why Jay Leno is actually leaving Tonight Show. Contract stipulations, my foot. I don't believe anything that they're saying, because I didn't believe Leno before, even though he gave his goodwill towards Conan. Everybody will say, well, it was NBC's decision to replace Conan with Leno, to bring him back. But Leno played a part in it, didn't he? Because he could have easily either walked away with $150 million, which would have been insane, 135 to 150 if he didn't return to Tonight Show in 2009 or 2010 or whatever it is now. But he could have just said, no, keep the money, bye. You see, now this time he's leaving with $15 million. I don't know. I would love to hear responses out there. I still think Jay Leno's a funny man. I can't bring myself to watch The Tonight Show because of this. This is something Johnny Carson would never have done. He would never have done it. Now, he didn't give any goodwill towards Jay Leno when Jay Leno took over The Tonight Show, but when Jay Leno wasn't doing so well, nobody said, Johnny, please come back. Because, no, it was a graceful, classy exit. That's the way to do it. Anytime you're on television, you have to handle it with grace and dignity. Two qualities which Jay Leno, I thought, possessed, but does not. And when you see his tracking record for the last 20 years, we can see grace and dignity are not in there. Everyone deserves the benefit of the doubt, but it put a bad taste on The Tonight Show, I thought. Some others might say it was a business decision. Yeah, but the way Jay Leno handled it, and in the press, and particularly the Oprah interview, no, I don't think so. No, this was a deliberate move by Leno, I think, to take the chance to do the Jay Leno show at 10 p.m. and call it a variety show, when in fact it ended up being the Tonight Show redo. And then he came back. So I don't feel bad for the man. I think he needs to leave the late night now for good. Don't even try to, take some baby steps to, or whatever you want to call it, to come back in there and feel you deserve to be back there if Jimmy Fallon doesn't do well. Jimmy Fallon will probably do quite well the first couple of weeks. After that, it's a matter of, let's see where it goes. But I urge NBC to give him a chance. You gave less of a chance to Conan. There was no way that Conan would have done fantastic that first year out, because again, what are we measuring here? Jay Leno had this for 20 years. One time he allowed a guest co-host, or a guest host rather, and of course now I forgot her name, but it's that newscaster, who the hell cares? It was one only in 20 years. One. Yeah, anyway, those are my thoughts on that. We'll find out more about this eventually. And this is the Boob Wasteland Show with your host, Jerry Saravia, signing off.